Some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, others make it happen. That is a quote from the great retired legend Michael Jordan, who is a well-known basketball player and has paved the way for many. In this speech, I'm here to talk to you about basketball, how it originated, and how it came about. Basketball. Hopefully we all know the sport. Most of you should. It's probably top 3, one of America's most watched sports, next to football and hockey. Basketball. Now let's bring it back a little bit. You might be thinking how it got started, how it got originated. It was originated by a man named James Naismith out of Georgia in the year 1891. He was working at a local YMCA, working with kids one day, and he see that they needed a game to play. So he came up with the game, what is now called basketball. And this is how it originated. He started off with just getting 2 simple peach baskets, nailing them up to posts, and they used an old soccer ball. He gathered the kids around and told them, any way, shape, or form you can, get the ball into the net, and we'll count it as a point. Now you might be thinking, what were the rules? How did it come about? What was the protocol? Back then when he first originated the game, basketball had 9 people versus 9 people. Nowadays, it's only 5 people versus 5 people because, as you all would know, if you had 9 versus 9, it's a lot of people on the court at the same time. Now, when it comes to the rules and how it came about and what he was doing, he had 13 basic rules. Now, in the NBA, they had just put in a new rule, making it a 14th rule, but there's still 13 core rules. And that's what the NBA is about. And that's what it is today. A little bit of history on it. So after that, the game begins to progress. It becomes to get more noticeable by everyone. Not just in the area, but by everyone. Everyone sees the phenomenon of this new sport and wants to get in on it and wants to play it. Now, if you know what basketball consists of, it consists of a ball, 2 teams, 2 hoops. Now, back then, when he had first created it, there was no backboard. All it was the baskets just nailed to an old telephone pole. Kids just ran around throwing the ball in the hoop in the street. Nowadays, we have a whole glass backboard, breakable rim, and a whole net system. Here's the thing. Tell you a little story. So, I remember when I was young, back in the day, around 5, 6, 7 years old, played at a little league at the YMCA in my local town. I remember being super fun. I remember going in there, seeing all my little friends. Once again, we're 5, 6, 7 years old. We didn't know what we were doing. Whole time we're all just running around, just throwing the ball in the hoop. As I got older and progressed, and as I am now today, I see that the game has changed dramatically and drastically. A little bit more history. So around the year 1979, 1980, the NBA actually incorporated the three-point line. Now, I don't know if many of you know what the three-point line is, but it is the line that if you shoot behind it, you can score 3 points. So what that means is before that, the game only consisted of 1 and 2-point plays. Whenever they adopted the three-point line, it changed the game completely. Now, you might say, where'd they get this idea from? What happened? NBA adopted it from a Hispanic man named Eddie Modillo because over in Mexico, they had a league and he had made the three-point line over there, but yet not had incorporated it to the U.S. Once James found out about it and they put it in, it changed the game, like I said, dramatically. More people were shooting behind the three-point line because they wanted to score more points because as you think, 3 points is better than 2 points. With that being said, the way the game was played back then to the way it is played now, totally different. Back then, a jump shot, people usually threw it underhand to make it into the basket, and they only dribbled 2 ways, right side or the left side. As the game continued to progress, dribbling changed as well as shooting. Now what they call as a jump shot and what they would call as crossovers. Crossovers originally came from and one basketball, which is street basketball, which people were playing that on the streets and not so, plentiful areas didn't have a lot of money, but people were very talented and they could do a lot of moves. Once people from the NBA started seeing that, they incorporated it into their game, and now it is considered a normal fundamental to have your crossovers down. Same as a jump shot. There is actually so much science and so much advancement within the sport of basketball itself and with the jump shot that everything has changed dramatically for the good. Not only just the sport itself, but the bases around it. Back then, people barely went to games and they barely watched games. Now the NBA Corporation of Basketball itself is a globally known sport and is played throughout everywhere in every country you could imagine. Also, the NBA itself is now a multi-billion-dollar industry with over 30 teams for the common goal, to play for the fans and to better themselves at the sport. Between James Naismith and Eddie Moydayo and everyone who's incorporated and contributed to the sport of basketball, first and foremost, I thank you. It is a sport I love the most. This is a sport I enjoy the most. From anywhere from the beginning of dribbling to how advanced it is now, where you can do multiple combo crossovers. From shooting underhand to every person having an individual shot catered to them so they can shoot the best of their abilities, to even passing the ball in fancy ways and being very creative. Basketball is a sport of many and is enjoyed by many. My name is Damaris Faison. I'm a student here at Drury. I plan to get my bachelor's in business administration, and this was my TED Talk.